That's going to be the question we're going to raise. Aditya Thackeray is joining us for an exclusive interview tonight. That's on the news today. Also, a special on the one and only Amitabh Bachchan, who's turned 80 today. Happy birthday, Amitabh. Those who worked with him will be sharing their stories. But first, as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9. 1983 World Cup winner Roger Binny set to replace Sourav Ganguly as the new BCCI president. Trinamool Congress says Ganguly lost the top job because he did not join the BJP. Jai Shah to stay on as the BCCI secretary. 2 names, 2 symbols for the split Sena. A day after Uddhav Thackeray gets the mashal as the symbol, the Shinde faction is awarded 2 swords and a shield. Aditya Thackeray tells India Today that the Shinde Sena remains a party of Gaddars. He's ready for an Agnipath to fight on. India bids farewell to Samajwadi Party patriarch Mulayam Singh Yadav. Top netas and abhinetas attend the funeral in his ancestral village of Sefai. War of the Yatras in Karnataka. Boma Yediyurappa kick off BJP's Jan Sankalp Yatra to cover 50 constituencies after the Congress under Rahul Gandhi does a Bharat Jodo Yatra. Prime Minister unveils the 900-meter-long Mega Mahakal Lok in Ujjain. This is the phase 1 of the spiritual corridor in the holy city. Chief Justice UU Lalit settles all doubts, recommends Justice D.Y. Chandrachud as his successor. Supreme Court to get its 50th Chief Justice when Justice Lalit retires next month. 2 women are killed in human sacrifice in Kerala's Patnamthitta district. Victims murdered by a couple who believed the killings would bring them fortune. IMF cuts India's 2022 growth forecast from 7.4% to 6.8%. Global growth to slow down to 3.2%. India still remains the fastest growing emerging economy. Vladimir Putin rains more missile fury in Ukraine. Attacks reported now in other cities. G7 warns against use of chemical or biological warfare. But in breaking news, right at the very top, major changes now at the BCCI, India's top cricket body. Sourav Ganguly is out of the BCCI as president. Roger Binny is set to be the new BCCI chief, the former World Cup winner. Also significantly, Jai Shah, son of Union Home Minister Amit Shah, will continue in the all-powerful post of General Secretary of the BCCI. The big question now, what happens to Ganguly? Will he move to the ICC as president, the International Cricket Conference, or has he decided to get out of cricket administration? Lots of speculation now over the future of Ganguly. So that's the big story that's coming in at the moment. What happens now to Sourav Ganguly is a big question mark, as Roger Binny, 83 World Cup winner, will succeed him as the BCCI president. We are told that Rajiv Shukla of the Congress will be the vice president. Ashish Shelar, a BJP leader from Mumbai, will be the treasurer of the BCCI. So the big story, Roger Binny set to be the new BCCI chief. Sourav Ganguly has been, in a way, his future is the big question mark now that lies ahead. We are told, sources telling India Today, that Nikhil Naz now joining us. Nikhil, what happens to Sourav Ganguly now? Where does Sourav Ganguly go from here?
Well, Rajdeep, as things stand right now, this might just be the end of the innings for Sourav Ganguly in the BCCI. But the one thing that I've learned over the last 2 decades while covering a lot of BCCI elections, that it's not over unless it's over. And especially when it comes to Sourav Ganguly, I'd like to take the viewers back to last time around 3 years ago when you had the BCCI elections. There was no name of Sourav Ganguly doing the rounds. And even, in fact, while the meeting was on the AGM, it was very last moment that you got to know that Sourav Sourav Ganguly was the consensus candidate. So as things stand right now, the nominations have been filed. Of course, you have 2 days. So right now, most of the candidates that you just mentioned are going to be elected unanimously because there are no other competitors in the fray. Having said that, you still have another day, and at the last moment, you could still see a few more candidates emerge. If that was to happen, then you could still see someone like a Sourav Ganguly contest. All he would need is 2 people, one a proposer and the other a backer. At the moment, that seems highly unlikely. The other thing that's been discussed, Rajdeep, is that maybe it could be that Sourav then becomes the representative of the BCCI and then goes to the ICC as its head. That also seems unlikely at the moment because that would require for him then to be on the rolls, in which case he'll have to let go of all other commercial activities that he's got here because he's being a former cricketer. So that also seems unlikely. Could just be the end of the innings for Sourav Ganguly as far as his administration career is concerned.
And all of this, of course, comes against the backdrop of the fact that Sourav Ganguly reportedly was being wooed by the BJP during the West Bengal election last year and chose not to campaign for the BJP or contest the election. Is there that angle very quickly, Nikhil Naz? We are told that the final stamp has really Amit Shah and the BJP have a big role to play in the BCCI. Ashish Shelar is a BJP leader from Mumbai. He's going to be the new treasurer. Arun Kumar Dhumal, brother of Anurag Thakur, set to become the IPL chairperson. Jai Shah to continue. So Jai Shah still the most powerful person in the BCCI. Am I correct?
Rajdeep, yes. The secretary, yes, has always been very powerful, has all the executive powers. And now with the change in the constitution, there will be more powers that would rest with the secretary. To answer your other question as to whether there is a, BJP angle into all of this, that, they were trying to woo someone like a Sourav Ganguly. The other thing that you've noticed, and you've covered BCCI for long, that all these political rivalries cease to exist when it comes to the BCCI. So I don't.
Okay, the frame has freeze. Nikhil was making a good point about no political rivalries in the BCCI. I remember Rajiv Shukla of the Congress is going to become the vice president, and we are told Sharad Pawar is actually backing Ashish Shelar as he becomes treasurer. BCCI, cricket unites where politics divides. Either way, Jai Shah set to become once again the most powerful person in the BCCI. Let's turn from the politics of the BCCI to the politics of the Shiv Sena, because the battle between the Shiv Sena versus Shiv Sena, it has intensified. Today, the EC allotted symbols to both the factions. Remember, they allotted the Mashal yesterday to the Uddhav Thackeray Sena, that's the Uddhav Thackeray faction. Today, the Balasahebachi Sena, which is the Shinde faction, has been awarded the symbol of a sword. Remember, all of this comes against the backdrop of a crucial assembly bipole that will be held in Mumbai, the first face-off between the Uddhav Sena and the NDA, with the BJP set to contest that election. What will happen? Who will get the original bow and arrow symbol is still uncertain. Take a look.
Uddhav Thackeray and Eknath Shinde factions of the Shiv Sena get new symbols and names. While the Shiv Sena will wield the mashal or torch, the Election Commission has allotted Maharashtra CM Eknath Shinde's Balasahebachi Shiv Sena 2 swords and shield as symbol.
The new symbol, the new name, Shiv Sena Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray. We're extremely proud of Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray ji. He has worked as a Chief Minister earlier, saving thousands of lives in Maharashtra. We have been a truthful, honest government working for the people. Everyone knows how he has worked. It also has the name of Hindu Register Balasaheb Thackeray in it. Most importantly, the mashal is something we will take with pride to every home.
With by-election in Andheri East Assembly seat just a couple of weeks away, the challenge for the Shiv Sena Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray would be to promote their symbols among the voters.
कुछ अवधि के लिए लोगों के में काफ़ी कन्फ्यूजन रहेगा कि हमारा चिन्ह क्या है, धनुष्य है या मशाल है या शिंदेगढ़ का आगे क्या चिन्ह होने वाला है।
नहीं, मेरे को नहीं लगता है कन्फ्यूजन है। वो जो शिवसेना जो है वो ओरिजिनल शिवसेना अभी इसके आगे भी रहेगा, कुछ भी होने दो।
Uddhav Thackeray is also fighting to get back the bow and arrow symbol, now frozen by the Election Commission. The former Chief Minister has moved the Delhi High Court to get the EC order scrapped. Thackeray claims the order was passed in violation of principles of natural justice. The Eknath Shinde faction has filed a caveat in the Delhi HC demanding their views be heard before taking any ruling on Uddhav's petition.
मेरिटवर हे धनुष्यबाण आमच्यासाठी धक्का आणि आमच्यावर झालेला अन्याय होता.
त्यावेळेला अशा प्रकारे बाळासाहेबांच्या पक्षाला सोडून जर कोण जात असेल तर त्याने बाळासाहेबांचं नाव वापरू नये ही साधी गोष्ट आहे. आज बाळासाहेब जिवंत असले असते तर बाळासाहेबांनी हेच सांगितलं असतं.
The fight for the bow and arrow symbol could be a prolonged one. The two parties would now focus on the BMC elections next year, which would reveal who the Mumbaikar think is the real Sena. With Mustafa Sheikh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's go straight to our newsmaker tonight, Aditya Thackeray, speaking out on the symbol war and more. Joining us now is a very special newsmaker. I'm joined by Aditya Thackeray of the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena, as it's now being called. Are you okay with that name, Aditya Thackeray, at the very outset? Do you believe that being called Uddhav Thackeray Sena is for you a fair game that the Election Commission has played, considering the other side, that is the Eknath Shinde group, has been called Balasaheb Thackeraychi Sena or Balasaheb Thackeray Sena? Are you okay with what has been done by the Election Commission?
So, Rajdeep ji, I think you've succinctly very well put it, because when we were given the name, of course, we are contesting and our claim still remains on Shiv Sena and the bow and arrow. And that will go on, because what has happened is purely Gaddari, it's betrayal, and that cannot be legitimized. Having said that, for the interim period, they've given us the name Shiv Sena Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray and have given us the symbol of a mashal. Now, Shiv Sena Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray, that actually brings everything together, and even the EC has proved that you cannot separate Shiv Sena from Uddhav from Balasaheb Thackeray. I think that is very, very important in the eyes of the EC and in the eyes of the people. The other name that we have got, Balasahebanchi Shiv Sena. Now, they haven't got Balasaheb Thackeraychi Shiv Sena. So there are multiple Balasahebs across the country. So it could be anyone's Shiv Sena that they are trying to run. That is up to them. But Shiv Sena Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray also is very important for us, because in the last 2.5 years, the people of Maharashtra and the people of the country have seen the work of Mr. Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray while being the Chief Minister, his administrative capacities, his inclusive politics, and taking everyone together towards sustainable development. And that has been appreciated by everyone. Everyone has seen him as a Kutumba Pramukh, as a family man for the entire state of Maharashtra. And I think that, takes us to every home now.
But the fact is that, even 6 months ago, one would have not imagined, or even 3 months ago, a situation where the Shiv Sena and its bow and arrow, which is your traditional symbol, A, would be frozen, and B, you would now have effectively two groups competing for the legacy of Balasaheb Thackeray, which is effectively what has happened. So while you can claim that, you are satisfied for now, surely you and indeed the Shiv Senics will wonder about divided loyalties of your Shiv Sena today.
Rajdeep ji, you have covered politics for decades now, and you've seen politics of India very, very closely. You've seen world politics also. But the kind of politics that is happening in our state today, that is, the way it is being divisive, the way it is being, trying to fool the people, I think it's never happened before. As someone who's 32 years old, this kind of vindictive politics, this kind of low-grade, dirty politics is something I had never expected when I stepped into politics 10 years ago. And this is not something what I thought was politics. I always thought that politics was about helping the people, serving the people. Yes, when you're in an election, you have allegations and counter-allegations, you have got name-calling, and I've seen that. But there's always been not a fine line, but a very thick line dividing vindictive politics from electoral politics in Maharashtra, which has sort of blurred today. As far as the loyalties go, if you see, I've been touring across Maharashtra. You have been also, taking a lot of feedback from Maharashtra and the people. The loyalties of the 40 Gaddars can be challenged, even within themselves, because those who couldn't be loyal to the man who gave them everything cannot be loyal to themselves, to their families, to the people that they've stuck to today. But the loyalties of the people on ground, both political and non-political, largely because of the work that we've done in the past 2.5 years, are strongly with Uddhav Sahib.
But the fact is that 40 out of 55 left you. So the question will be the Shinde Sena or the Balasahebची Sena, Shiv Sena is claiming now that they have a majority of the legislators with them. They claim also majority of the organization is with them, and therefore purely on the strength of numbers they are the real Shiv Sena. So presumably this battle is far from over and will probably be only settled when the municipal corporation elections are held in Mumbai and indeed across Maharashtra in a few months from now.
Oh, yeah. They can actually, go to an extent of even claiming the UN Security Council to be with them and the G5, the G7, G20 to be with them in a global perspective. But if you see on the Dasara rally day, there was only one Dasara rally at the Shivatirtha. The other one, which was, sort of a mela going on, you saw, even though they had 40 of the legislative assembly members out there with them, you had some of the ministers dozing off on the stage. You had a crowd that was quickly emptying out by the middle of the meeting.
But Mr. Aditya Thackeray, he has the support, Mr. Eknath Shinde has the support of the BJP, which is the party in power at the center, which is a majority party in parliament. And the belief is that once they come together, then they become a very, very powerful force. One reason why 40 people went, presumably, is they sense that they wanted to be in power with the BJP. So you are now going to have to combat not just the Shinde Sena, but the BJP. In fact, in the Andheri East election that is to take place, the by-poll in November, it's the BJP which is going to put up their candidate. So you are competing against a very powerful force at the moment.
I think you've said what everyone has to say, and you've actually spoken what's on everyone's mind, because people in this country today, in the age of information and social media, have read through what has happened. But I think what we are competing against is the fact that the very principles of democracy and our constitution is challenged today. If today such gaddars, and I wouldn't call them anything else, and I wouldn't find a better word for them in English or any other language, if gaddari is legitimized in such a way, then you will see that every state will start facing this problem. Most importantly, the principle lies that is this democracy. Today, there is no cover for defection in any of our law, bylaw, or the Constitution of India. Today, what has happened is defection, and what they ought to face is disqualification by law, whatever the strength is, because we in our country look at the party and the party structure, the organizational structure, not the legislative party.
But Aditya Thackeray, while you claim that they are defectors, they are gaddars, they are claiming you are Dennis, and therefore when the name is Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray, they will claim this only reaffirms our claim that this is a party of Dennis. We are the party of the real Shiv Senics. This is what Eknath Shinde has been going around Maharashtra, Mumbai saying ever since he became chief minister. Is that a hurdle that you will have to overcome? That Uddhav Thackeray will have to, in a sense, suggest that, look, I have a party which is not just a family party.
Not at all. We are extremely proud of it, because the people of Maharashtra know that I am the 6th generation serving the people. They are, of course, wanting to finish off the Thackeray family. They are behind the Thackeray family because they know that as long as we are in the field, they cannot claim and they cannot prove their lies to the people. One of the most important things to note here is they have shifted their goalposts left, right, center, and have been countered very, very successfully, not by us, but by the people on everything that they have said. They've been challenged and put down every time they've put out a claim. The first claim was they could not work with the Congress and NCP. But 2.5 years, they were sworn in with the same government, same ministers. They did what they had to. They had their own bungalows, perks, everything. Then the next claim was about them not getting enough funds. And then I think the then Deputy CM, now the leader of opposition, Mr. Ajit Pawar, read out the funds that were given to all of these MLAs and the ministers. They couldn't claim on that, put a claim on that. Then they put a claim on Hindutva. We wrote that claim off from them. Now they're claiming on the Thackeray. I think tomorrow they might even want to take our surname away and claim it for themselves. Because for them, what they have got is an invisible hand behind them.
No, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
But
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But Aditya Thackeray, if you look at the Dashera rallies, at the BKC rally, members of the Thackeray family, Jaidev Thackeray, Smita Thackeray, Nihal Thackeray were all present there. So in a sense, they are sending out the message that this party is not just of Uddhav and Aditya Thackeray. There are other Thackeray families as well, members as well. You're a divided family. That's the message they tried to send out.
I wouldn't be too surprised if they use the masks of all of us for the electoral campaigns, because I mean, finally, that's what their, the whole pivotal point for them is, and that's what they're claiming. But the sad fact of the matter is that they have backstabbed a person who did everything for them and who gave them the social and political identities. I think that fact is deeply set within the people. It is a khoke sarkar, and it will remain a khoke sarkar.
You know, but there is one question that will also remain about Hindutva. The other claim they are making is that while you claim they betrayed the Shiv Sena, betrayed Uddhav Thackeray, betrayed Balasaheb's legacy, they claim you betrayed the Hindutva identity that Balasaheb Thackeray was identified with by tying up first with the Congress NCP and then slowly, according to them, moving away from core Hindutva beliefs. You know, it's very interesting that even at the Dussehra rally, Uddhav Thackeray ji spoke about Bilkis Bano. And, you know, these are issues which have never been raised in the past, but it almost seems as if the Shiv Sena or the Uddhav Balasaheb Shiv Sena wants to reinvent the notion of Hindutva, and that's what Eknath Shinde and others are objecting to.
Not at all. I mean, let me start off with the Bilkis Bano issue, because Uddhavji raised the Bilkis Bano and the Ankita Bhandara issue. In no religion in any part of the planet can the rape and, murders of children and such rapes or heinous crimes be celebrated after the prisoners have been released from jail. There is no place for such things in Hindutva, or at least what we believe is our Hindutva, as we've been learning from our grandfather and Hindu Samrat Balasaheb Thackeray. Nobody can justify garlanding rapists after they've come out serving their term from the prison. I think their place is at the gallows, and that is what we've been taught by Hindu Samrat Balasaheb Thackeray. So that is one. But the other fact is, yes, for the MVA, three parties, the Shiv Sena, the Congress, and the Rashtravadi Congress, came together with other friends and allies to form the Mahavikas Aghadi. Now here, clearly, you can see two different spectrums of ideology coming together for the state of Maharashtra, for democracy, and for the ideals of the Constitution of India. Now, while we worked for the people of Maharashtra, nowhere did the ideologies come in clashing, because the ideology was common, that whatever your beliefs may be, whatever your party may be founded on, the first ideal of every ideology in a political alliance is to serve the people selflessly, and that is what we kept doing. You may also remember that right from 2018, when we first raised the issue of Ram Mandir in 2018, after which the court case took a momentum, to and going there as all of us as family, to even after becoming chief minister, Uddhav Sahib went to Ayodhya twice. I've gone there at least 3 to 4 times. He may be the only chief minister from the rest of the country, apart from UP, who's gone to Ayodhya so many times, even when in an alliance with the Congress and NCP, very openly demanding a Ram Mandir. And then later on, we went and we asked for a Maharashtra Bhavan at Ayodhya for the people and the pilgrims who would go there. The other question lies, of course, of something like the 10 temples, for which the 10 ancient temples, more than 100 years old, for which our government as MVA gave funds for their restoration and rejuvenation in terms of a spiritual perspective and a tourism perspective for the world. No other government had done this before. That's what we as the MVA did. And that is what our Hindutva was. I did that in Mumbai. Going further, we were, of course, working on bringing the Tirupati Mandir from Tirupati, the Balaji Mandir, to Navi Mumbai, something that I'm very, very proud of, that no government has done before. We gave them 10 acres of land near Navi Mumbai. This new government, the illegal Khoke Sarkar, has put that on a back burner. This is a Hindutva. Going further, if you look at what we did in terms of Aurangabad and Osmanabad, very crucial questions that you may want to ask us, because again, this was something that Hindu Samrat Balasaheb Thackeray said since the 80s. We changed it to Sambhaji Nagar and we changed it to Dharasiv, with the Congress and NCP being with us, nowhere leaving Hindutva behind. But the differentiating factor with our Hindutva and theirs was, what we did was without fueling hate. What we did was without riots and, without any unnecessary divisions in the society. We took everybody together. Yes, we got a letter from the governor back then asking the chief minister, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, whether he had suddenly turned political. And the only thing that we did that time, because the governor was asking us to open temples in the midst of the second COVID wave, was we said no, because our first rule of our dharma is to save lives while serving the people. Had we not kept everything closed, you would have seen a lot of people dying on the streets in the middle of COVID than taking care of them. So that is where the differentiating factor lies. And I think that could be for everyone who follows Hindutva across the country.
No, but you keep saying that they have, that they have betrayed you. They will, on the other hand, claim that, look, there are 40 of us. It's not 10, 12, it's 40. It's 2/3 of the party has left you. Why did 2/3? Have you ever tried to sort of introspect and say, did we go wrong somewhere? Did we fail in somewhere? Or are you only going to blame the BJP for luring these MLAs away from you? Is there another reason? Could something have gone wrong in the way your decision making was, or Uddhav Thackeray's leadership, which was responsible for so many of your loyalists also, people who've been with you for years leaving you?
There's a popular saying right now in Maharashtra, "Pannas khoke, ekdam okay." I think that has struck the chord of the people because that is the real truth. They have gone for their own monstrous ambitions. Now, if you see what went wrong probably with us is when we were hearing rumors and murmurs about, these 2-3 core Gaddars who wanted to defect for some of the personal pressures that they may be having or some of the ambitions that they may be holding, we actually tended to trust them because we run on a principle of 100% trust. There's no trust deficit within the party. If tomorrow you join the party and you tell me something, I'm going to take you on your face value and trust you outright and depend on you for the people to be served. While serving in the last 2.5 years, we did not play dirty politics. We did not send notices of tadiparis, or we did not put agencies behind the opposition, and neither did we keep a watch on our own people because we trusted them. Also, for the people from those 40 Gaddars who claim that we were not meeting, if you go through our Twitter timelines or our social media, you'll see pictures with us on an almost alternate day basis, with them in every program, every meeting. So their reasons, they might have reasons for that, whatever the reasons they have. I think every reason has been erased by the people of Maharashtra, and the people of Maharashtra know the truth. 2
final questions. One, is there any possibility of going back before the 2024 elections to the BJP and Narendra Modi's leadership? I'm told that Uddhav Thackeray still has a good relationship with Mr. Modi, and the problem was with Amit Shah. Is that true? Is there any possibility of going back to the BJP under Mr. Modi's leadership?
Look, it's right now is not the time to answer on ifs and buts because I don't think we can look at hypothetical situations right now. For me, the focus is to go on ground and keep meeting the people because there is a lot of love, there's a lot of blessings coming our way, and that's what is for me to keep gathering.
And finally, for Aditya Thackeray, what's been the big learning? You were accused of having a very comfortable entry into politics. You became a minister at a very young age. Now, what has been the biggest learning? Have the last 3 months been a wake-up call, in a sense, for Aditya Thackeray, which is why you're traveling now across the state, trying to once again reconnect with people? Do you believe for you this has been a wake-up call? Has it toughened you up? Do tough times make you tougher?
Today is the birthday of Mr. Bachchan, and there's only one poem that can define this, Agnipath. I think that is what the biggest, what we see as today. But of course, the learning really is that it is up to you to clean up things in politics. Politics is disgusting, but more than that, what has hit us really is the fact that the 40 Gaddars, and today we still can't define it in words, the way the things happen. People who we thought that we belong to them, they belong to us. There was a different kind of a relationship that we could trust and give everything to. I think betrayal by them has really taught us that humanity is present in a few, but the other few, there can be really some disgusting features in them. And that's what is really coming out in terms of the dark fact of life at a certain point. But I think for us, it's to keep fighting and to keep winning, because if you have done no wrong, there's no reason to hide.
Well, Aditya Thackeray, you used Agnipath as an analogy. Clearly, your party and you as an individual and your father are going through a political Agnipath at the moment. We'll wait and see what happens in the days and weeks and months ahead. But for now, thank you so much for joining me here on the News Today and answering all my questions. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
पुलिस स्टेशन है, तुम्हारे बाप का घर नहीं। हम भी वो हैं जो कभी किसी के पीछे नहीं खड़े होते, जहां खड़े हो जाते हैं लाइन वहीं से शुरू होती है। मैं आज भी फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं उठाता। तुम लोग मुझे ढूंढ रहे हो और मैं तुम्हारा यहाँ इंतजार कर रहा हूँ।
रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे बाप होते हैं, नाम है शहंशाह।
डॉन का इंतजार तो 11 मुल्कों की पुलिस कर रही है, लेकिन सोनिया, एक बात समझ लो, डॉन को पकड़ना मुश्किल ही नहीं, नामुमकिन है।
क्या नाम क्या है तुम्हारा? विजय दीनानाथ जॉन, पूरा नाम।
आज मेरे पास बिल्डिंगें हैं, प्रॉपर्टी है, बैंक बैलेंस है, बंगला है, गाड़ी है। क्या है तुम्हारे पास?
मेरे पास माँ है।
भाई वाह, जवाब नहीं आपकी मूंछों का। मूंछें हो तो नथुलाल जी जैसी हो, वरना ना।
So 80 and still going strong. What explains the remarkable Amitabh Bachchan phenomenon? Joining us now, very special guest, Javed Akhtar, writer, lyricist, who along with Salim gave Amitabh his first big blockbuster, Zanjeer. Ramesh Sippy, who did hit films like Sholay and Shakti, mega hit Sholay with Amitabh Bachchan. Siddharth Basu, who was a producer and former creative consultant at KBC and thereby reinvented Bachchan in many ways for the small screen. And first, a very special guest, Zeenat Aman joins us on the phone line, an actor who did many hit films with Mr. Bachchan in the 70s. Zeenat Aman, wonderful to have you on the show. What is your memory of the Bachchan phenomenon? What explains this phenomenon?
Hello, Rajdeep. It's a pleasure to be talking to you, and especially, on Mr. Bachchan's 80th birthday. To me, he stands out as a towering figure, not just in Hindi cinema, but in the way he's conducted his life. Dealt with all the setbacks and overcome everything, whether it was his accidents on the sets of Coolie or the debacle at ABCL, whatever he encountered in every which way.
And did you have, you did a lot of great films with him. I remember watching Great Gambler, first day, first show in a cinema in Mumbai. Even though it was an adult's film and I was below the age, I must confess. But I want to understand any favorite Bachchan film or anything about acting with him that stood out for you?
I think not over the Hindi language. She was quite flawless and at ease, was ever given to him. Even things written on the set last minute. Of course, we had some wonderful songs together, like from Love Chunki, and lovely songs in Pukar, and of course, Kaike Pan, Araswala and Dawn, and songs from Lavaris and Dostana. So he was always very punctual, disciplined, dedicated to his work. I remember the number of takes that he wanted to give during the shooting of Kaike Pan Banaraswala, because he just wanted perfection. And yes, there's a lot to admire about Mr. Bachchan.
But wonderful to have Zeenat Aman on the show. Let's, in a way, take that to you, Javed Akhtar, because you gave Bachchan his first big blockbuster, Zanjeer, changed his life, Angry Young Man. Was he your first choice? Was that, because it is rumored that he was not your first choice for the film. So presumably that Angry Young Man character wasn't created with Amitabh in mind, Javed Akhtar.
No. Actually, not only the first, actually he was the last choice. You see, this script was originally written for Dharamji, Dharmender, जिन्हें हम धर्मजी कहते हैं, but somehow because of some reason, even after hearing the complete detailed script, he refused to work in it. Now, Mr. Prakash Mehra had a script, but not a leading man. And then, we also became an important name, Salim Javed, after Zanjeer. So we were also not such big shots, although we had done given some successful films like Sita or Geeta or Hati Mere Saathi and so on. But, we became Salim Javed after Zanjeer. So we also did not have much say. And Mr. Prakash Mehra, who was producing it for the first time, he was only directed till that point, he went from actor to actor, and everybody. I mean, I don't want to embarrass so many people. Some of them are not in this world, and some of them are. But what is the point in embarrassing certain people? Everybody refused to do this role. Now, in retrospect, I see two things. One, that it's understandable, perhaps. That was the time when Rajesh Khanna was almost a god, and Lakshmikant Pyarelal and Art Harman's music was the main support of the picture. Here was a film where there was no romance, no comedy, no singing. The hero was not even singing. And he was, right from the first frame to last frame, a very grim, serious, bitter person. So this is the kind of a hero that Hindi film screen had never seen. So obviously, I mean, it was so different that everybody refused it. Another thing that I must make is the hats off to Prakash Man, that every hero rejected this script, but he did not leave the script. It was not because of the name Salim Javed. We did not have that kind of a name. It was his conviction on the script. And constantly I kept on nagging him that he should take Amitabh Bachchan. He should take. But Amitabh pictures were failing on weekly basis. So obviously it was not a very attractive business proposal. But then too, Mr. Prakash Mehra cast Amitabh and hats off to him. So yes, the truth that he kept on pursuing him, but ultimately he was the man who put his money where his mouth was.
So a film role that was meant perhaps for Dharmendra, another big star of the times, goes to Amitabh Bachchan, and the rest is history. Ramesh Sippy, you worked with him in Sholay, later in Shakti, where he was paired with the other great of Hindi cinema, Dilip Kumar. What was it like, Ramesh Sippy, to pair one superstar with another? Must have been a terrific experience as a director.
Honestly, there may have been apprehension when we started. But once we started working, absolutely everything went so smoothly. There was no tension whatsoever, because both are fine actors and both knew what they had to do. And I remember in the final shoot at the airport, where Yusuf Saab, Dilip Kumar ji shoots Mr. Bachchan, his son, and he called me to his room at the hotel there, Centaur Hotel at that time it was, and he said, you know, I've been watching this actor, and now we're doing the last scene. He's an absolutely wonderful actor. And he said, even I have learned something from him.
Wow.
What a compliment that was. I think he's no more with us, and Mr. Bachchan is now 80 years old. We're also happy for that. But how beautifully did he describe that? He admired the young man, and at that time it was not like it was after 20 years or 30 years or 40 years. It was in those first few years that he worked, and he was zapped by his work, and he was himself such a fine actor. And then in that last shot, when he fires him, kills him, shoots him, and he's in his lap, we took that shot in one single take.
Wow.
There were no cuts. If you ever see that film again, just notice there is no cut. Mr. Bachchan's performance was unbelievable. But when any actor to give his best, his co-star has to be. And since the co-star was even bigger than him, Dilip Kumar, the all-time great. So, two all-time greats coming together in one film, in one scene, it was overwhelming.
You know,
I myself didn't know, I didn't feel like saying cut.
You know, remarkable. Zanjeer in the 70s, Shakti in the 80s, of course, Saath Hindustani, which started Bachchan Saab's career, was in the 60s. But let's turn to the 21st century with you, Siddharth Basu, because you reinvented Bachchan in a way for the small screen. with KBC when his career was struggling. Along comes Amitabh Bachchan as a quiz show host. You were the original quiz show host. What was it like to direct Bachchan for KBC?
I won't take too much personal credit, Rajdeep, because the format was very strong. It was happening all over the world. At that time, about 26 countries. The prospect of seeing a life change in front of your eyes through a knowledge game was something that was beginning to happen. And at that time, the channel Star, and led by the programming team of Sameer Nair, they were the ones, he was the one who first thought of it. He broached the idea of doing the show over here, and it was complex because there were so many inputs, mass participation, the technology of recording it, computerized gameplay, all of that was completely alien to the Indian situation at that time, but he was the one who just broached it. We were sitting across a cup of coffee at the Oberoi here in Delhi, and he said, "What do you think of Amitabh Bachchan as the host?" And my jaw dropped because I said, my God, it was a terrific fit. I knew that because his personality, his gravitas, his, his language, his eloquence, which is bilingual, Hindi and English, was going to be a great fit. But I was wondering whether they'd be able to persuade him. And it took 3 months of persuasion, of speaking to him. And finally, Mr. Bachchan said he wanted to go to London and see the recording for himself and decide. And there were lots of people around him, family, friends, everybody was saying, don't do something like this. But he wanted to think about it. He knew about its success. He wanted something to sort of revive his connect with viewers and Indian people. So we went to London, and that's where it began. In terms of preparation, he was guarded in the beginning because, you know, this shift from being a film actor who records scripted bits in little takes is different from running a real-time show. But he had the theatre background, and which was going to serve him well because you take it through from beginning to end with a dramatic graph. He took a lot of pains over time, drilling with the gameplay, finding out, okay, because, you know, sometimes the computer cues him, sometimes he comes to cues the computer, light, sound, everything is cued, and together. It took him a little time, but he systematically approached it, the multi-camera recording in real time, how to go, and then he mastered it systematically.
Right.
He loves his work, he approaches it like a very keen student, bit by bit, mastering each bit, and that's what really has worked for him.
You know, everyone who you speak to about Bachchan is this ability to be disciplined and master your craft. You know, Javed Akhtar, what stands out in a way for us from the outside is the sheer longevity. More than 50 years, you know, since the 60s, and we are now in 2022. What stands out for you about Amitabh Bachchan, Javed Akhtar, as someone who's worked with him for so many years?
You see, it is very difficult to become Amitabh Bachchan. And I will not advise anybody to try that. Because you have to be unbelievably talented. After that, you have to be exceptionally disciplined. You have to be totally focused. You have to be so sensible that in your career of almost 52, 53 years, you never make a wrong statement, never say anything indiscreet. At the time, there was a time when he was working, at one time he was working with 5 groups who would have perhaps liked to see each other dead. But he was a common factor, and he was really working with them, and everybody was very happy with him. So that shows his social ability, his social interaction, how discreet, how decent, how perfect it was. His discipline, even at the peak of his career, was unbelievable. That he would, if the shift is of 7 o'clock, he would reach there at 6:45 and point off for me. Even the production manager would come after.
Wow.
And he would sit in the car and wait, looking at the closed doors of the studio.
You know, Ramesh Sippy, you did the megastar Sholay, of course, and as I said, Shakti. But what is your favorite Bachchan movie of all time? One that stands out for you in this 50-year remarkable career of Amitabh Bachchan?
Again, he's not a man who can be described by any single person. In his young days, he did so much of good work. And then, as he grew older, from Mohabbatein to I was the chairman of 2 national awards in 2010 and 2016, and that wonderful role he played with in R. Valki's film, where he played a man growing into a child from an old man into a child, from young man into a child, and he received the award for it. I had no choice. How could anybody else be given the award when he gave such a magnificent performance, completely different from whatever he'd done? And then he did Piku in 2016, which was again almost a whole different avatar. I mean, so he keeps surprising you with so many wonderful, wonderful characters and wonderful roles, and they all hold you. You don't want to take your eyes off.
You know, listening to all of you, you seem as if Amitabh Bachchan is eternal. You know, Siddharth Basu, he's truly larger than life. In a way, he's sort of gone even well beyond what KBC you might have envisaged, as you said, in the early years. Is that something that makes him so special? Truly larger than life, a word that is often used all too frequently, but Bachchan is larger than life, bigger than that small screen.
In many ways, he enlarged the small screen, the show enlarged the small screen, because a lot of things begin to happen much bigger on television than it did before. But you're right. You know, even at the age of 80, the kind of hours he puts in, his hunger to do it right, is remarkable, and as has been his empathy. What he's mastered on television as a medium is the very special close-up intimacy he builds with the contestants as well as with the viewers sitting at home. He's done that consciously. And the thing is, his star aura, he reflects on the contestant. That's what's been special. That's what's given him longevity as a television host, I believe, is that, you know, attitudinally they approach him on his knees. And they sort of, you know, spill all the beans. They speak their heart and soul out and everything in front of him. But he encourages that delicately warm. It's a one-on-one kind of interaction that he builds, which is a hallmark of the greatest television hosts. And he's done that. He's made that switch from film to television. And as I said, even at that age, because I know very few people at the age of 80 who puts in the kind of time and effort that he does, because he prepares as much for the 1,000th episode as he did for the first. All the background, everything he soaks in, and then he does what needs to be done. There are very few parallels in the world. Perhaps David Attenborough, who's 96, who's an institution. Sure. But Mr. Bachchan is an institution, and at 80 going strong. So hats off to him.
Hats off to him, and as we say, happy birthday to him. But I want to ask you, Javed Akhtar, therefore, when the history of Indian cinema is written, how will Mr. Bachchan be remembered? The biggest superstar, or an actor first and then this superstar, or a bit of both, as Siddharth Basu points out, a true institution?
He is a great combination of great stardom and great performances. You see, if you look at it logically, in a way it is paradoxical. Because a big star is somebody who has a great persona, style, and so on. And stories or screenplays are only a kind of hanger on which you put this persona. People are interested in seeing persona, story, or characters are an excuse. On the other side, a good actor is somebody who gets under the skin of the character. And he is expected to have a water-like quality that he will become what he's playing, and people will forget that who he is. Now, ostensibly, this is totally paradoxical and moving in opposite directions. But this is one person, except for Dilip Kumar. In history, these two people are born at different times and different decades, who could do both the things together and get away with that. They were the biggest stars and the finest actors of their time. So, there are miracles, and We should look at them with awe and respect, that's all.
Let's leave it there. I think there are no words to describe the manner in which Mr. Bachchan has truly strode like a colossus over cinema and in our hearts over 50 years now. Therefore, on behalf of all four of us and every viewer out there, we wish you, Amitabh Bachchan ji, a happy 80th birthday. Life begins at 80, and I'm sure you'll continue to do many, many more films and indeed television shows. To all three of you also joining me here on the show, thank you very much for this special show that we've done. The one and only Amitabh Bachchan. Amitabh Bachchan, our talking point tonight. Let me just about have enough time to leave you with our image of the day. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveiling the first phase of the Mahakal Lok Corridor in Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh. Grand spectacle there where the Prime Minister says that his government is restoring the glory of many spiritual centers across the country. We leave you with images of grand ceremony in Ujjain. Let's hope that that spiritual fervor is matched by growing tolerance, accommodation and inclusivity above all else. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Stay well, stay safe. Good night. Shubhratri.
जय महाकाल।
I noticed something new. You started using a new body lotion. Fun.
I'm so sorry for the delay. I was on another call. It just kept going on.
No, Papa. You were in a steam bath. Steam bath? At home? To do steam bath he takes.
Go to your homework.
It's 7:20 already. The kickoff's in 5 minutes. Get all the boys. We have the entire place to ourselves, man. Not working?
Of course it is. But I don't want you guys to be using this bathroom. So use the other one.
I'm so sorry for the delay. I was on another call. It just kept going on.
No, Papa. You were in a steam bath. Steam bath? At home? To do steam bath he takes.
Go to your homework.
मैं आज भी फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं उठाता।
खुश तो बात होगी। रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे बाप होते हैं।
डॉन को पकड़ना मुश्किल ही नहीं, नामुमकिन है।
नाम है शहंशाह।
la main des aides-soignants. Pourquoi? Parce que les aides-soignants aujourd'hui, ils sont globalement sous l'eau. Ils ne peuvent plus faire leur métier qui est de soigner. Et donc nous, Emobots, on leur fournit cette information de l'état émotionnel. Ils vont pouvoir mieux comprendre l'évolution de l'émotion de leurs résidents, de leurs patients. Et derrière, on sera aussi capable d'objectiver. C'est-à-dire qu'aujourd'hui, quand on fait un test pour la dépression, c'est un test normé, ponctuel, où on demande à la personne de verbaliser les informations. Et donc ça pose plein de problèmes. Et notamment de difficultés pour les personnes qui ne peuvent pas verbaliser.